Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki and I was recently diagnosed with autism at the age of 23, and I make videos mainly about autism. I also might sprinkle in a little just for fun videos, story times, that sort of thing every now and then. So if you're interested in that sort of a thing, I would definitely suggest subscribing and turning on your post notifications so you can be notified each time I upload. Today's video is going to be all about dating and autism. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of challenges that neurodivergent, specifically autistic people might experience when dating. I'll talk a little bit about my own personal experience with dating and that sort of thing. So I don't have a very long dating resume for somebody my age. I'm almost 24 years old and I've only been through 2 relationships. The first relationship that I was in was when I was in high school, and that lasted for about 4 months. So not very long at all. And then the most recent relationship that I've been in I would say a serious relationship. It lasted for about 1.5 years. And then last summer, me and him, or not summer, last fall, almost a year ago, me and him broke up after 1.5 years. So that's, and I haven't dated anybody since. So that's just kind of a brief explanation of my dating resume and experience with dating. And I haven't dated a lot, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I am autistic, and that makes it very difficult for me to meet people because of that. And I'm going to go into a few different challenges that you might face if you are autistic and you are looking to date. So the first challenge or difficult thing that I want to talk about in this video is knowing if somebody, or being able to tell that somebody likes you. If that makes sense. I guess that's the best way to describe it. But like, if a lot of us autistic people, we don't know social cues. We don't know, like, we don't understand things unless you like explicitly tell us, you know what I mean? And a lot of times, like, when people want to communicate with you that they like you, they will flirt with you or drop some like subtle hints. And a lot of times that just goes right over our heads. Like, I would not know that somebody likes me or somebody is flirting with me unless they are direct in saying, hey, I like you. But most people don't do that. So it's just going to fly over my head and I'm going to have absolutely no idea that you like me. The second point that I wanted to talk about with dating challenges for autistic people, or / meeting people challenges, is just that it's difficult in general to meet people when you're autistic, to meet people to date and to just like get somebody to fall in love with you. Now I would say that I guess I have what people call pretty privilege, and I would say I'm kind of a naturally attractive person, not to like toot my own horn or anything, but I guess that's what society would deem me as. But so I can have, guys might look at me and see my appearance or see pictures of me on like a dating app, and they would fall in love with me, and think that I'm good looking. But then, like, when it comes to like my personality, a lot of people would not fall in love with my personality. Like, I'm very awkward, very awkward and very like shy, especially when you first meet me. So that's another thing. It's like a guy might look at me and have a, be attracted to me physically, but then like when they meet me and they actually see my personality, then it's like, oh, never mind, And then the other thing is just like meeting people in general. I would definitely say that online dating is gonna be my best bet with a relationship. Because like I don't really go out much. I'm a huge homebody. I'm very introverted. I don't go out and do much. I'm not big into going to the club and being in like, I don't really like to be in like loud, crowded places. So you're not gonna find me in a loud, noisy bar on a Friday night. You're gonna find me chilling here at home in my pajamas with my cat. So that's another thing. A third thing that I wanted to touch on in this video that is a challenge for a lot of autistic people is communication. And there's a lot of things that I can say about communication. The first thing being that this kind of goes along with the first point that I talked about, and that is like that we don't get social cues. We don't get that sort of thing. We have to have like very direct and explicit communication. And so like, we don't get things like unspoken rules, that sort of thing. And so like that can make dating really hard with communication and stuff like that. Like if you're in a relationship with somebody and the other person needs to communicate with you that they, maybe that, they're upset about something or they don't like something that the other partner is doing, like we need very direct and explicit communication. And if you're not being direct and explicit, a lot of times it'll go over my head. Like, if someone's upset with me or if they don't like something that I do or if something I do bothers them, I need people to like straight up tell me, instead of drop some hints or whatever, because like I said, that goes over my head. So that's another thing is just like, that. And then like, I think another thing is just like social cues and stuff like that. Like not like knowing, when the, I guess, proper time to like kiss somebody is. That's another thing that I don't understand. I dated my last boyfriend for a year and a half and we never kissed in our relationship one bit. And I think like one of the things is that like, I'm not a big touchy person, which I'm going to get into that. That's another point I'm going to talk about in this video. But I'm also like, I'm not big on like slobbery, wet kisses, but like, I know it's something you're supposed to do in a relationship, but like, I don't know when the right time to do it is. Like you see in the movies and on TV couples that just kiss and they just do it. Like they don't announce that they're going to do it or anything like that. They don't ask the other person, hey, can I kiss you? Like they just do it. And it's like, I never know when that right time is, if that makes sense. Does anybody else feel the same way? Yeah. And another thing with communication is just like this kind of goes along with like understanding like the give and take of a relationship. And this is a big thing that I have struggled with in my past relationships. It's just like the whole give and take of it and like regularly being in contact with the person, texting, calling, scheduling date nights, things like that. I mean, that's something I've been really bad at in both of my relationships that I've been in is regularly hanging out with the other person. And I'm definitely going to be honest and say that I kind of relied on the other person in the relationship to take more of the lead when it came to getting together. Because I didn't know when to reach out, when to call them, when to text them, when to schedule date nights, how often do we want to see each other? I didn't know those things, obviously like, you need to make some time to be with your significant other and to spend time with them and get to know them when you're dating. But at the same time, you don't want to like bug them all the time. So it's like, where is that middle ground? Where's that happy medium? That was another thing. Like, I think especially like my last relationship, that my my partner eventually like got kind of tired of taking the lead and just gave up, and then the relationship eventually ended, and that's kind of just how it is. And I'm so bad at stuff like that. Like anybody else, like if I am, especially with like, I could not be in a long distance relationship. For one, I'm like, I have like friendships and like families that live out of state, out of town, and they never hear from me. And it's not that I don't care about them and I'm not thinking of them. I just never know when to reach out. And that's like kind of the same thing with a romantic relationship. I just like don't know when to reach out. And so I rely on the other person. So that's another thing. I think I kind of just rambled there, but we'll go on to the next point. Another point that I wanted to make that is hard for autistic people, that might be hard in relationships, is physical touch. This is another thing that I personally makes dating difficult for me. I am definitely like with autism, first of all, you're either a sensory seeker or a sensory avoider. I personally don't care for physical touch very much. I like, don't freaking touch me. That's how I am. Like I specifically don't care for light touch. I don't care for like longer prolonged periods of touch. Like someone putting their arm around me. I remember my relationship in high school, when me and him went on our first date. We went and saw a movie, and like halfway through the movie, he puts his arm around me in the during the movie, and I'm just like sitting there so uncomfortable. And like, it's one of those things where like, you know that like touch is a way that people frequently show love. And I think that like with masking and stuff like that, you know, a lot of us that mask a lot, we feel like we have to learn to enjoy touch. And that's how I've felt before. I felt maybe I just need to learn how to enjoy this because this is how other people show love, you know? But now I'm like, no, I can find a partner that can show me love in a way that makes me feel loved and makes me feel comfortable. And if touch is not my thing, then there are other ways that somebody can show their love and affection to me besides touch. But that's how I am now. But like back, like when I was younger, you know, I felt like, oh, I need to learn how to enjoy this because this is what couples do, you know? But like, yeah, I was so uncomfortable in the movie. It was like, I was like in my head kind of praying to God that he just like takes his arm away from me. And you know, yeah. And even times where like he would put his arm around me, like when we would be at school and stuff like that in the halls and stuff, and he could kind of tell that I was a little uncomfortable, and I would just kind of be like, oh no, nothing, it's fine. But like, yeah, I'm not really a touchy person. Like I don't want somebody rubbing my back. I don't want somebody touching me. You know, there's some things I can maybe tolerate. Like I can tolerate holding hands if your hand's not, as long as your hand ain't sweaty, you know, maybe a quick hug I can tolerate too, but like, I don't like to be touched in general. But there's, like I said, you're either a sensory seeker or a sensory avoider. There might be some autistic people that are the opposite of me and are very sensory seeking when it comes to physical touch, and they really crave a lot of physical touch, and they might crave more than their partner likes. So, you know, it can go either way. But yeah, that is like something that I find really difficult, is like I need somebody that is okay with like showing me love and affection in other ways that aren't so much about physical touch. And a lot of times that is just like, you know, what people do is like they show love through touch, and that's obviously very hard for me. Another thing that I want to talk about in this video that might be difficult for a lot of us is like our need for alone time. And you know, obviously with like maintaining a relationship and things like that, you need to be, you know, spending a lot of time with the other person, planning date nights, calling or texting them on the phone, which I hate phone calls. I don't want to talk on the phone. I've had some guys that were interested in me on like Instagram and stuff like that. They would try to call me and I would be like, oh, I'm not ready for that. But anyway, what I'm trying to talk about is like a lot of us are introverts and a lot of us are like people that we just need time. We need a lot of time to ourselves. You know, we need to have time to ourselves. You know, we're in a world where, you know, there's a lot of, you know, we have sensory issues and things can be very overwhelming, and we just need that time more than most people do to recharge. And it's like, I definitely, like, I see other people in relationships and it's like they're spending every moment of every day with their significant other. Like, even if they don't like live with each other, it's like they're either like always with each other doing stuff together, or like if they're not physically with each other, they're like on the phone talking or FaceTiming or things like that. And it's just like, I could not do that. Like, I need a lot of my personal space and a lot of my alone time. I don't want to spend every waking moment with my significant other. No offense to whoever that's going to be in the future, but I don't want to do that because I really need my alone time. I would go insane if I never had a break, you know, and I really need that. Some people might not understand that, you know, that like I may not have the energy in me to like respond to a text message right away. And that can be really hard. And so I would definitely need somebody who's very accommodating in that area and very understanding of the fact that I might need a little bit more space than most people do, and can be respectful if, you know, I don't feel, you know, I feel like just being alone in my room, or, you know, I can't respond to your text message or whatever right away. Or maybe I don't want to go out and do things every single night of the week, you know, and like having to find that like healthy balance between, you know, we're spending enough time with each other, but I'm also meeting my needs of my alone time as well. I wanted to end this video by, I don't know, kind of giving like a pep talk, I guess is the word, for any single autistic people out there that are looking to get into a relationship, and maybe you might be comparing yourself to other people, which I'm definitely very guilty of that. Like, I will look at other people my age, you know, that are getting married, that are getting engaged, that are having families. And I look at that and I think that I'd like that for myself one day. And I don't know if or when I'm ever going to get that. And I think that it's really important to remember that, like, you don't have to do things on other people's timelines. You know, it's okay to take your time with finding a relationship and finding something that works for you. I definitely will say that I've been guilty of comparing myself to other people and not wanting, you know, having FOMO and you know, seeing other people getting into relationships, getting into serious relationships, and, you know, planning their weddings and things like that, and feeling like, oh, I'm behind in life. I need to get, you know, and that's exactly how things were with my last relationship. Like, when I got into my last relationship, I met him through a dating app because, like I said, I don't go out much, so dating apps are probably my best bet for meeting people. But, you know, I started seeing like people that I went to school with, that I was in like extracurricular activities and in classes with, getting engaged. And you know, I would see wedding pictures and stuff, and I would compare myself to them and think, like, these people are the same age as me, and they're already getting engaged and married, and I need to do that too. I don't want to be behind. I don't want to be 35 years old and still single with no kids, you know. And so, like, I kind of felt the pressure to start dating, and so that's when I started getting on these dating apps. And I found a guy, and I dated him for 1.5 years. And no offense to the guy that I dated, I think he's a great person and all, but I definitely think that, like, looking back, maybe that wasn't the best fit of a relationship for me personally. And like I said, I think he's a great person, but it was just maybe not the right fit. So I think that you need to be okay with taking your time and understand that, like, yes, we're going to have more challenges than most people when it comes to dating, and it might take us longer to find somebody, and that's okay. That's okay to take things, you know, do things on your own timeline, not rush things just because everybody else around you is in a relationship or is married or whatever. Doesn't mean you have to rush yourself into that. Like I said, I'm going to have to find somebody that is very accommodating and very patient and very understanding of what some of my needs are. You know, like I said, for instance, I need somebody that is understanding of, you know, how like physical touch kind of makes me uncomfortable. So like, you know, someone that could show me love in other ways, you know, or finding somebody that's understanding of the amount of alone time and time to recharge that I might need, like that sort of thing. So, and I have to get myself in this mindset of, you know, I would rather wait and take my time finding somebody and find somebody that's really accommodating and really understanding and that can meet my needs, rather than rush myself into a relationship with somebody that I feel where I might need to mask in that relationship. So that's just what I want you to keep in mind, that if you're autistic and you feel the societal pressure to get married, or, you know, whatever, just remember that it's okay to take your time, and you don't have to rush into anything. You don't have to compare yourself to anybody else. It's okay to take your time, and if that means finding the best fit for you, then take your time. It's okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. That would help me out a ton. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. Share this video with anybody that might find it helpful. And feel free to share your experiences with dating and anything else that I maybe didn't talk about in this video that you might find difficult. Feel free to share those in the comments. And always feel free to leave any suggestions down in the comments for videos that you would like to see in the future. So I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.